Hello everyone and welcome to my The Young and the Restless channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The lights are low in Genoa City and something in the air feels dangerously fragile, like the calm before a storm. On The Young and the Restless, a quiet scandal begins to unfold, and at the center of it all stand Kyle and Claire. It starts subtly, almost harmlessly, a moment of laughter, a glance held a second too long, a touch that lingers where it shouldn't. Kyle leans closer to Claire, his voice low and intense, telling her she owes him for everything he's done. The words sound playful on the surface, but beneath them is something sharper, something unsettling. Claire forces a small, polite smile, trying to keep the moment light. She attempts to brush it off, to pretend it means nothing. But the camera lingers on her face, and in her eyes a flicker of discomfort appears. Her body stiffens. The room suddenly feels too small. Kyle's hand rests on her arm just a second too long. And then she pulls away. Kyle, stop. The words are quiet but firm. The mood changes instantly. Kyle laughs, waving it off like it's nothing. He tells her she's being dramatic, says he was just joking. But the playful atmosphere is gone. The air tightens with tension. Claire's breathing shifts, and the unease becomes impossible to ignore. What once looked like flirting now feels like pressure. Then Kyle crosses a line. He corners her in the office, stepping into her space and blocking the doorway. The charm in his voice fades, replaced by something colder, something demanding. He insists she misunderstood him. He claims she's overreacting. His words come fast, defensive, as if he's trying to rewrite what just happened. Claire's hands tremble, but her voice rises with courage she didn't know she had. "You don't get to touch me like that," she says. "You don't get to talk to me like I owe you something." Silence crashes down between them. The accusation hangs in the air, heavy and unforgiving. For a split second, guilt flashes across Kyle's face, but it vanishes just as quickly, replaced by anger and denial. He accuses her of twisting the situation, of trying to destroy him. The power dynamic shifts violently in that moment, and the emotional stakes explode. Claire's eyes fill with tears, but she refuses to step back. "This isn't a misunderstanding," she says, her voice shaking but strong. "It's harassment." The word lands like a bomb. Soon, whispers ripple through Jabot. Hallways grow quiet when Claire walks past. Eyes follow Kyle wherever he goes. Sides begin to form. Some question Claire's motives. Some defend Kyle out of loyalty or fear. And others, in hushed voices, admit they've seen this behavior before. The entitlement, the blurred boundaries, the sense that he could do whatever he wanted without consequences. The fallout is brutal. Kyle's reputation dangles by a thread, his future suddenly uncertain. Claire faces doubt, judgment, and isolation, but she also finds something new inside herself: strength. What began as a single uncomfortable moment becomes a defining turning point in her life. She is no longer silent. She is no longer shrinking. And Genoa City will never be the same. Will Kyle finally take responsibility for what he's done? Will Claire stand firm when the pressure mounts and the whispers grow louder? And how will this scandal reshape the lives of everyone caught in its path? In Genoa City, secrets never stay buried for long. And when the truth rises to the surface, it doesn't just expose the past. It changes everything. The shockwave from Claire's words doesn't fade, it only grows louder. By the next morning, Jabot feels different. The familiar hum of business is replaced by uneasy silence. Conversations stop when Claire enters a room. Phones buzz with messages that no one wants to read out loud. Every glance feels loaded with judgment, curiosity, or fear. Claire keeps her head high, but inside she's unraveling. Each step down the hallway feels heavier than the last. She questions herself in quiet moments. Did I do the right thing? Should I have stayed silent? The doubt creeps in like a shadow, but so does something stronger, Resolve, she reminds herself of Kyle's hand on her arm, his body blocking the door, his words telling her she owed him, and she knows she cannot take it back. Meanwhile, Kyle spirals in the opposite direction. He storms through the office, furious and defensive, insisting to anyone who will listen that Claire misunderstood everything. He paints himself as the victim, blindsided, betrayed, falsely accused. His voice is loud, his confidence forced, but beneath it all is panic. Because for the first time in his life, control is slipping through his fingers. Every smile he flashes looks practiced. Every apology sounds hollow. Behind closed doors, the walls begin to close in. Management demands answers. Legal teams whisper about consequences. And the question no one wants to ask out loud hangs in the air. What if Claire is telling the truth? As the investigation begins, old memories resurface. A lingering look here. A joke that went too far there. What once seemed harmless now feels disturbingly familiar. Employees begin to re-examine moments they brushed off before, and suddenly the past looks very different. Claire sits alone in a conference room waiting. The room feels enormous, cold. Her hands tremble as she folds them together, trying to stay strong. Every second stretches like an hour. She stares at the door, knowing that when it opens, her life could change forever. Kyle stands on the other side of that same door, pacing. He runs his hands through his hair, anger mixing with fear. He rehearses his story over and over, convincing himself that if he says it enough times, it will become the truth. But deep down, a crack forms in his certainty, a whisper he can't silence. Maybe I went too far. When they finally face each other again, the tension is unbearable. They don't speak at first. They don't have to. The air between them is thick with everything left unsaid, the broken trust, the fear, the humiliation, the damage already done. Claire looks at Kyle, and this time she does not flinch. Her voice is steady, her posture unshaken. This isn't about ruining you, she says quietly. It's about protecting myself. Those words hit harder than any accusation. Kyle's jaw tightens. For a moment he looks small, stripped of power, stripped of charm. The room bears witness to the truth. Neither of them can escape. Whatever his intentions were, the impact has already changed everything. Outside that room, Genoa City waits. Families will be divided. Friendships will fracture. Loyalties will be tested. And the line between right and wrong will no longer be easy to ignore. For Claire, this is no longer just about one man's behavior. It's about finding her voice in a world that tried to silence it. For Kyle, it's about facing consequences he never imagined he'd have to face. And for Genoa City, this is only the beginning. Because once the truth begins to surface, it doesn't stop with one accusation. It spreads, it exposes, it demands reckoning. And in a city built on secrets, this scandal will leave scars that no one can hide from. The storm has arrived, and when it finally breaks, nothing and no one will remain untouched.